Everybody wants to be called smart, but nobody wants to do the work that intelligence demands. You think reading books, quoting philosophers, and playing it cool makes you dangerous. No, that makes you a trivia machine with no teeth. Intelligence without execution is a heavy sword rusting in its sheath. The world doesn't care how many ideas you have stacked in your head if you're too scared to swing. You can have the sharpest mind on the battlefield, but if you freeze when it's time to strike, you're dead weight. Knowledge is potential. Ruthless intelligence is kinetic. It's the ability to pull the trigger while everyone else is hesitating, thinking, overanalyzing, afraid of failure. You can study strategy all day, but if you don't have the guts to move when it counts, you're not smart. You're just, well, informed and irrelevant. The smart man who acts slowly is a casualty waiting to happen, and the one who never acts at all, that's just a coward in disguise, worshipping his own thoughts while life passes him by. There are people out there with half your knowledge, half your skill, half your preparation, and they're winning. Why? Because they act, because they jump, because they bet on themselves when you're still trying to decide if it's safe. You can read Machiavelli, study the art of war, and quote every damn line from every motivational book. But until your feet hit the fire, none of it matters. Ruthless intelligence demands that you move with calculated aggression, that you take the risk and deal with the blowback, that you stop overthinking and start doing. You want to be dangerous, then stop hiding behind your intellect like it's armor. It's not. It's dead weight unless it's paired with action. People use intelligence as a crutch, as an excuse to wait until things are perfect. I'm just planning. I'm being strategic. No, you're procrastinating in disguise. Strategy isn't about waiting until you feel ready. It's about moving with incomplete information, trusting your preparation, and adjusting mid-battle. Ruthless intelligence doesn't need full clarity to move. It thrives in fog, in uncertainty, in chaos. You want to be a force, then act like one. Act when you're tired. Act when you're scared. Act when your mind is screaming at you to wait just a little longer. Because the window closes fast, and every second you wait, someone with less talent, less intellect, and less fear is taking what could have been yours. No one remembers the thinkers who didn't move. They remember the doers who changed the world with bloody knuckles and broken plans. You think being smart means staying safe, always being right, always having the answer. It doesn't. Being smart means knowing when to strike even if you might be wrong. It means backing your gut, your training, your preparation, and letting the chips fall where they may. Ruthless intelligence isn't about perfection. It's about power, risk, and follow through. And if you can't pull the trigger when it matters, don't call yourself smart. You're just another spectator in a world built by wolves. Trust is not a virtue. It's a weapon, and most people hand it out like candy. You get burned, betrayed, double-crossed, and then you act surprised. That's not their fault. That's yours. Smart men don't trust easily. They don't assume loyalty. They observe, they test, they verify. Trust is like gold, rare, valuable, and not given without weight. Every time you hand out your trust without calculation, you give someone leverage over you. That's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. We live in a world full of masks. People say one thing, mean another. They smile at you while holding the blade behind their back. You want to survive? You want to thrive? Then stop trusting words and start watching behavior. Start recognizing patterns. Start listening to the silences, the inconsistencies, the hesitation. The smart man doesn't listen to what's said. He studies what's not. You don't owe anyone blind trust just because they showed up. You don't give trust because it's the polite thing to do. You earn it through war, through scars, through proven consistency under pressure. Anyone can look loyal when everything's easy. It's when the fire hits that you find out who's real, and most aren't. Most will fold, most will lie, most will disappear, and that's fine, because now you know. The goal is not to be paranoid, it's to be prepared. There's a difference between building walls and building filters. Walls keep everyone out. Filters let the right ones through. The ruthlessly smart man knows the difference and builds both. Stop thinking trust makes you noble. It makes you vulnerable, and vulnerability without boundaries is weakness. People love to manipulate your desire to see the good in them. They feed off your need to believe in loyalty. You give them your secrets, your time, your plans, and then they gut you when it serves them. That's not betrayal. That's what happens when you confuse potential with proof. Never trust potential, only trust patterns. That's the Machiavellian mindset. You don't invest in someone's best case version. You invest in what they've consistently shown you when things are ugly, when it costs them something to stay. The truth is, most people are loyal to their need, not to you. The second that need changes, so does their loyalty. If you don't accept that, you're not emotionally intelligent. You're delusional. The smart man doesn't build his strategy on trust. He builds it on leverage. He doesn't need people to be loyal. He creates systems where betrayal costs more than loyalty. That's how you survive in a world full of actors. That's how you stay 10 steps ahead in a game most don't even know they're playing. Trust, when given recklessly, is an invitation to be used. But trust, when earned and backed by awareness, becomes a tool of power. If you want to be dangerously smart, stop trusting first and thinking second. Start thinking first, watching second, and trusting last. Because in this game, trust isn't something you give, it's something they fight to earn. The moment you let your emotions run the show, you've already handed over the steering wheel. Anger, fear, love, envy, every single one of them can be weaponized against you if you don't take control. You think being emotional means being authentic. No, it means you're easy to manipulate. It means anyone who knows how to push the right button owns you. People get played not because they're weak, but because they're predictable. You get angry when insulted, soft when flattered, jealous when challenged. You're not a thinker, you're a puppet on a string. The world doesn't care how you feel, it reacts to how you act. And if your emotions dictate your actions, then the world will keep using you over and over like a broken tool that never gets fixed. Ruthless intelligence starts with emotional control. Not avoidance, not suppression. Control. You don't pretend feelings aren't there. You study them. You learn their patterns. You recognize when they rise. And instead of reacting, you respond with purpose. The man who can sit in rage and not let it control his decisions is a weapon. The man who can feel fear and move forward anyway is unstoppable, because emotion without control is chaos, but emotion mastered. That's fire aimed like a laser. That's the kind of intensity that doesn't just burn, it cuts. People love to talk about passion. They glorify it like it's always a good thing, but passion is just a flame. If you don't contain it, it consumes you. That's why most people sabotage their own progress. They make decisions in emotional storms, then wonder why everything's on fire. You can't build anything lasting with hands that shake every time pressure shows up. You can't lead if your judgment collapses under the weight of your own feelings. You think leaders, warriors, kings, tacticians, any of them built legacies by following their hearts blindly? No. They learned to use emotion like a tool, not a compass. The compass is logic, the compass is clarity. Emotion adds fuel, not direction. You want to be dangerous, then be the one in the room who feels everything, but shows nothing. Be the one they can't read, can't shake, can't bait. That kind of presence doesn't come from faking calm. It comes from confronting your own chaos and refusing to let it command you. It's built in solitude. In the quiet moments where you dissect every trigger, every scar, every reaction, until you understand exactly how your emotions work and exactly how to disarm them. Because if you don't disarm them, someone else will pull the pin for you. The world will test you, people will insult you, challenge you, deceive you, and every single one of those situations is a trap waiting to see if you'll react emotionally. If you explode, they win. If you beg, they win. If you panic, they win. But if you stay sharp, if you stay calm, if you operate with surgical precision while your blood boils beneath the surface, that's when you become something else. That's when you become dangerous in the quietest, most controlled way possible. Not because you don't feel, but because you don't fold. Most people walk into life like it's a fair game, like they're playing checkers on a clean board where everyone follows the rules. But the ones who win, they know that life is war disguised as routine, that every conversation, every deal, every relationship is a chessboard. The difference is, they don't wait for problems to slap them in the face. They see 5 moves ahead, 10 moves ahead. They're not reacting to the moment. They're already shaping what's coming next. That's what makes them dangerous. They don't play checkers. They build empires while everyone else is just trying to stay in the game. You can't afford to live in the present if your mind isn't trained to anticipate the future. That doesn't mean living in fear. That means being prepared. That means understanding human nature at a core level. It means reading people, not just listening to them. It means knowing that behind every smiling face could be a silent threat. Behind every compliment could be a manipulation. Behind every handshake could be a deal that costs you more than it pays. The ones who win in the long game are the ones who treat every move like it matters, because it does. Every yes you say, every no you avoid, every time you speak when you should have stayed quiet, every time you reveal too much when you should have held back. It adds up, and before you know it, you're trapped in a game you didn't even know you were playing. Thinking 5 moves ahead means building discipline over impulse. It means walking away from easy pleasure to secure long-term dominance. It means letting other people think they've won the battle while you're quietly positioning to win the war. The ruthless mind doesn't care about being right in the moment. It cares about winning when it counts. It's not interested in clapping back, proving a point, showing off. It's interested in leverage, in positioning, in staying quiet while the room exposes itself, while the world reveals its flaws, while the enemy walks right into the trap you set days, weeks, months ago. You don't need to be the smartest. You need to be the most strategic. That means detaching from emotion, from pride, from the need to be seen. That means you move like a shadow. Let them underestimate you. Let them laugh. Let them think they're ahead. The most dangerous man in the room is never the loudest. He's the one sitting still, watching patterns, calculating exits, anticipating betrayals before they happen. While others are reacting, he's already positioned. While others are bleeding, he's already countered. This mindset isn't paranoia. It's preparation. It's not fear, it's foresight. It's the quiet violence of a man who doesn't gamble on luck, because he's already built the outcome in his head before it ever happens. You want to win. Then stop living move to move like a pawn and start thinking like the one moving the entire board. That's where power lies, in foresight, in patience, in ruthless calculation masked behind discipline. Niceness is a costume. It's the mask people wear when they're too afraid to be real, too soft to be direct, too weak to demand respect. You are taught to be nice because it makes you likable, acceptable, safe. But safe doesn't change anything. Safe doesn't shake the world. Safe doesn't command respect. It begs for approval. Niceness might get you compliments, but it won't get you power. It won't protect your name when they try to ruin it. It won't back you when people start taking shots. Being liked is not the same as being respected. You want to be respected, then drop the act. Drop the approval addiction. Drop the watered-down version of yourself that's afraid to be sharp when sharp is required. The world doesn't reward nice men, it uses them. The ruthless truth is this: if you're not willing to assert your space, people will walk through you like a doormat. They will take your time, your energy, your effort, and give you nothing in return. They will smile while doing it. They will convince you that being silent, agreeable, and polite is noble, but it's not noble. It's weakness sold as virtue. Being good doesn't mean being harmless. It means being powerful and choosing to control it, choosing to discipline it, choosing to direct it with precision. But if you've got nothing under the hood, if there's no fire in the engine, then your goodness is meaningless. It's just decoration, and decoration doesn't survive in war. To be effective, you need edge. You need the ability to say no without explaining yourself. You need the ability to disappoint people who expected you to fold. You need to be able to hold the line when it's uncomfortable, when it costs you, when everyone else is looking for someone to blame. You think kings ruled by being nice. You think warriors won by being liked. You think men who carved empires gave a damn about being understood. They weren't cruel. They were clear. They weren't bullies. They were unmovable. There's a difference. You're not here to please people. You're here to build something unbreakable, a legacy, a presence, a standard that doesn't happen when you're everyone's favorite. It happens when you demand excellence and embody it, even if it makes people uncomfortable. Niceness is reactive. Power is intentional. You don't react to people's moods, demands, or disapproval. You hold the line. You speak when necessary. You move with force when required. You lead with calm certainty while everyone else is panicking. That's what makes people follow, not your charm, not your politeness, your presence, your control, your consistency. If being nice means you abandon truth, compromise standards, and suppress strength, then you're not being kind, you're being conquered. The man who becomes dangerously smart understands this. He doesn't live to be liked. He lives to be effective. He builds respect through action, through boundary, through being the one who doesn't flinch when others fold. And in the end, it's not the nice man they remember, it's the one who stood his ground and never apologized for being sharp when the world needed a blade. You want to be dangerously smart. Then stop chasing comfort, stop clinging to softness, and start sharpening every edge life tried to dull. Intelligence without action is dead weight. Trust without filters is suicide. Emotion without control is your leash. Strategy without foresight is just noise. And niceness without power is a death sentence. This world doesn't reward good intentions. It respects results. You don't earn your place by asking for it. You take it, not with arrogance, but with calculated fire. You study the game. You learn the rules. Then you break them when necessary and rewrite your own. Ruthless intelligence isn't cruelty. It's clarity. It's seeing the truth beneath the lie, standing calm in the chaos, and choosing strength over sympathy when the moment calls for war. Be feared not because you're violent, but because you're capable. Be respected not because you're loud, but because you're unshakable. Be remembered not because you fit in, but because you had the discipline to stand out.